What is up, what is up? Yeah, many of you don't know this, but I actually do fantasy football, so I'm gonna do some sleeper picks and stuff that you should probably take in a note. So the first thing that I have here is many people are gonna overshadow him because, well, he's not even the number one receiver, but I think people should take more consideration into drafting Jalen Waddle, because he probably won't go in your first round of your draft or salary cap. If you're doing a first round of draft, if you're gonna do a snake draft, then I presume him a second or third round pick that you can get. If you're doing if you're doing a salary cap, I assume he'll go for about 20 to 30. So many people are gonna overshadow him because Tyreek Hill. So that's one of my sleeper picks that I have. So anyway, let's move on to the next one. I have another wide receiver that people aren't going to take into consideration. He was hurt a little bit of the year, but I think he'll do great this year. So I'm going to say it, Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think he's a great and talented wide receiver. And he almost had 1,000 receiving yards this season. I think he's amazingly talented, and honestly, I just think anybody should draft him. He almost won my dad's league last year, and yeah, so great pick, I guess. I don't know. There's also another person that I want to talk about that basically won me my league last year, but people aren't gonna take him into consideration because the Bears suck. Justin Fields. Fields almost won me my league last year because he had two 40-point games He had two 40-point games this season. So, I mean, everyone's going to think that, he sucks because the Bears suck. No, he doesn't. Of course, he's not going to have the passing stats, but if you look at his rushing stats for the year, he had almost 1,200 yards this season for his passing stats. So, personally, I do think that you should pick up Fields in this third to fourth round of your snake, and I assume he'll probably go for 15 to 20 in a salary cap, but I'm no expert. I mean, I'm probably better than those stupid guys on ESPN, but hey, we'll see. So here we have, I also want to touch on some of the rookies this year because, well, personally, I think Anthony Richardson out of the University of Florida. If you want a solid rookie QB, I think you should take Richardson. Because Richardson, he's fast, he's tall, he jumps very high. We saw that he can easily just bomb it down the field. I think he's a great option. Personally, don't sue me for this, but Will Levis sucks. My personal opinion, Will Levis sucks. He should be undrafted. Personally, I think that he played pretty average against people who he was 4 to 5 years older than, and he's kind of just bad. I don't think he should be good. For that number one reason that he played pretty average to people who, number one, weren't his size, and number two, he was really much older. I don't know. He was a lot older than them. But there's also one other reason. He puts mayonnaise in his coffee. A man can't be right in the head if he puts mayonnaise in his coffee. So, I also have one more rookie that I want to touch up on. Jalen Hyatt and Quentin Johnson. Personally, I think that Johnson is going to be a really, really good rookie. But I think he might be, I don't really know how to describe him. I think he's going to light it up in his first 3 seasons. And I think he's just going to kind of have a slower decline. But then I think Hyatt's going to be good for a really long time. So I think that you should get one of those other ones. I think you should probably draft Hyatt or Johnson. Rookies usually go in the 7th to 8th round. If they're really good, they can probably go to the 6th or 7th. But yeah, so I mean, if you're on a salary cap, my dad got Amon-Ra St. Brown last year for like $2 because he was a rookie and lit it up. So yeah, that's something. So that's something that you can take into consideration. Rookies don't go for much in salary caps, and you can easily take them in the later rounds. So if you want a good rookie wide receiver, I think that you should probably take Quentin Johnson or Jalen Hyatt. Jordan Addison, I'd also probably consider, but I don't think he's going to be amazing in his first year, but he could be. I think he has a lot of potential, but I don't think he's going to absolutely amaze in his first year, but I think he has a lot of potential and he can easily do some great stuff. So those are what I want to do on rookies. So now we have defense and kicker. So defense, I think that the Jets are one that you should definitely take into consideration. There were 2 first-team All-Pros on their roster, and with Quinton Williams and Sauce. So those 2 already are good enough, are really good. And then I think they had 2 more Pro Bowlers. I think Mosley and DJ Reed, those 2 were both Pro Bowlers. So those 2 are also something to take into consideration. Also, the Steelers defense, no bias. I'm a Steelers fan, but no bias there because Watt, he was injured. Minka kind of carried the defense this year, and he was kind of why Minka and like the last 5 weeks of Watt were kind of like good. Yeah. But if you really want a great piece of advice, I think that you should draft Chase Claypool in the 2nd round of your draft and then trade him to the worst team in the league, and then you'll go 7-2. My personal piece of advice, that's what you should do. So there's one more thing that I would like to touch up on, and it's kind of just where I think like some teams that need some so here's where I think all the top QBs are going to go, so that you know like what weapons they'll have, and I'll also go over some free agent QBs. So we'll start off with the free agents. I think Jackson will be franchise tagged. I also think that I think they'll construct a deal with Geno, but if they don't, I think he'll also be franchise tagged. Those are the 2 that I think people are really worried about, because those 2 are really good. I had Jackson, and I thought he was pretty good for a few weeks. I liked them. There's also the draft. So I think that the Bears are going to trade down to the Colts, and the Colts are going to select either Anthony Richardson or Bryce Young. If they select Bryce Young, then Richardson goes to the Texans at number 2. If they select Richardson, then Young goes to the Texans at number 2. So, yeah. And then I think for some reason, Will Levis will go to the Panthers at 9, which I don't like. I also think personally that Stroud will fall to 7 for the Raiders, because they're kind of in QB limbo currently. Like, they don't have an active QB besides Stidham, who personally I think didn't play that awfully. I mean, he played a little bit above expectations, so I don't think he was that bad. But personally, I just think that they should draft CJ Stroud at number 7 if he gets to them. Then everyone has speculating that Will Levis will go number 9. I think that the Panthers shouldn't pick QB. I think Will Levis would be a great 2nd round pick. I don't think he has 1st round talent enough, because for the reasons earlier, I think he's not very good. But so there are also 2 other QBs that people are kind of overlooking. well, actually 3. Max Duggan, Stenson Bennett, and Tanner McKee. Tanner McKee, I think, is a great second-round pick. He'll probably... I think that the Panthers should go for him in the second round if he falls there. Dugan should I think Max Dugan out of TCU, he'll probably fall to the second round. Same thing. And I think Bennett, Stenson Bennett, 2-time national champion, middle-aged man, proud middle-aged man, Stenson Bennett, will go in the 4th round to either the Patriots or the Buccaneers. Because those two franchises are pretty desperate for a QB. And I think Bennett, even though he'll probably have a shorter career due to him being 27 years old, I think he'll be a reliable starting option for his probably short-lived career. But that's most likely what I have for today, unless I just think of something in the next 1 minute. So I think that all that stuff will be great. I think that it's going to be a great draft class, and those are some of my sleeper picks. I hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, see you later.